Good morning. We're up to part 3 already. The end of part 2 snuck up on me. So it's Monday, February 6th, 2023. We're doing the drive to work. Usually there's very little content in these, which is fine. As I said, I was mainly doing these out of habit. Today I have an excuse. I have an actual excuse for making the video, is that we're testing a theory. We're trying to find out why I'm getting sick when I go to work. I know if you're watching all 3 of these things, it must be annoying to hear like kind of the same intro stuff 3 times in a row. There is a solution. Don't listen. Anyway, so we're testing a theory. My theory, which is mine, is that dinosaurs start off very thin at one end, get thick. No, I was thinking it was my jacket, because the jacket was the newest member of the morning routine. Like I just recently got that jacket. It wasn't brand new, it was secondhand. So I think maybe there's a chemical on it, or it's radioactive. I don't know what. I'm leaning towards radioactive because of, like, you know, some of the symptoms. They could be motion sickness, it could be radiation poisoning. Who knows? I can't believe that I don't own a Geiger counter. I should get one. Aren't there like 2 flavors of Geiger counters? Aren't there different decays that can be picked up? I'll have to look that up. What's the other thing I was supposed to look up? Oh, how they make this Midnight Black. Like whether they're flavorants or they're just a special process or special beans or combination. Just looking for excuses to use the word flavorant. So I would say, you son of a... I tempted to go through this. I was tempted to go through this red light because it was a very fresh red light, but the guy in front of me went through the red light too slow for me to follow. So I had to wait a whole 10 seconds to continue my trip. Patience. Also, it appears that I'm running a weird experiment on my audience because I keep saying yawn. I was thinking about faking a yawn to see if it made you guys yawn, but I don't think I will. What's also weird is I should be, that whole yawning thing, I should be tired. Like, one, it's Monday morning. I didn't get any sleep at all Saturday night. For some reason, I don't know what the heck's wrong with me. I have no trouble falling asleep normally, and I probably would have fallen asleep, but I kept messing around with my phone, like playing stupid games and watching reels, like till after 3 o'clock in the morning. Like it was a dumb move, very, very irresponsible. Time would have been much better spent sleeping. Whew. Anyway, so Saturday I got very little sleep. Last night, we stayed up late watching this wonderful comedy. I gotta figure out what it's called. If I remember what it's called, I'll tell you about the movie. We watched it because it was suggested as a comedy. It was not a comedy. It was, in fact, there was nothing funny in it. It was a space movie, like Space Pirates. It wasn't bad. I'll probably never watch it again. But it wasn't horrible. Was it horrible? I don't know. I'll check with my wife. If you're only seeing episode 3, at the beginning of episode 1, right after the Dunkin' Donuts stop. There's a near head-on collision. A guy in a pickup truck, like a work vehicle, it's got ladders and stuff like that on it, was coming towards me at breakneck pace and came into my lane, and realized at the last moment and swerved back into his lane. Harrowing stuff. We'll have to see what happens on the ride home, because I mean, I am literally no effect. I mean, it's almost a paradoxical effect. I haven't, like, I should be very tired right now. I mean, this is the exact opposite. This is I haven't felt this good going to work in a while. I don't know what the dealio is. Time to kill. So I may or may not have covered this in, oh, did I bring that book with me? Yes. I may or may not have covered this in a previous video, but if you are into lucid dreaming, meaning realizing you're asleep and then like kind of taking control and guiding your dreams, one way that I've used, I haven't done it in a while, but it worked when I did it. It's one of those things where it's a habit. You have to start doing it pretty consistently before it'll work. But throughout the course of your day, make it a habit that when you're doing certain things, you just stop for a moment, take a gander at your surroundings, like just seriously look at your surroundings and ask yourself, am I awake? Like, is this real? Because that's all it takes. Because if you look back, I know it's hard to remember your dream, but you're often at, this used to be my house, but it's different. The parlor's larger, and there's a baboon sitting in the recliner, whatever. So if you take a moment and you analyze what's going on, pardon me for playing with my hair, you'll get in the habit of doing it. And when you ask yourself that in your dreams, you may not realize something's off at first couple times you do it, but then at one point you will realize, wait a minute, none of this makes sense. I don't live here anymore. What am I doing here? And you will eventually realize you're asleep. And that's pretty neat, because it gives you the ability to do certain things. It's weird, depending on what your psychological makeup is, you may be limited. Like, yeah, I did explain this because I remember talking about this part. Like, I can't fly. Even when I'm lucid dreaming, I can't fly. I can hover and I can glide a couple inches above the ground, like, bring my feet up and just kind of zip around real quickly, but I can't fly up into the sky. I can do feats of amazing strength, It's not amazing strength, it's a dream, but I can flip cars and things like that. Glide, but I can't fly. So there's a weird subconscious self-limiting thing that goes on with me. But if you want to try lucid dreaming, like I think when I started trying this, and I don't remember who turned me on to it or if I thought of it on my own. I can't imagine I would have thought of it on my own. Maybe I did. I'll have to see if I can find reference to it somewhere. But yeah, it took a couple weeks. So like, you have to really get into the habit of pausing multiple times a day just for a moment and asking yourself, is this right? Are these surroundings normal? Like, should I be talking to Mark Twain right now? I had one, this wasn't a lucid dream, this is one where I should have realized I was dreaming, because Einstein was sleeping in my parents' bedroom. So weird dream. And I started talking to him. It was in the last house they lived in. So he's in there. I start talking to him. He's talking to me in German. I couldn't understand a word of it. I didn't know any German at the time, so it was completely lost on me. Halfway through episode 3. So I have a soup. I talked earlier about ramen insanity, some soup I made for myself yesterday because I had a sinus, I had a bad sinus headache. I know why. It wasn't a mystery. It was really cold, and I wanted to supplement the heat, so I fired up the fireplace insert, and I think I spent way too much time with my head up my ass. No, with my face in the my face in the box, soot, dust, ash, blah blah blah. I wasn't making little mistakes, opening the thing too fast. Like, so when you're using a fireplace insert, there are certain things you have to do. Mine comes with 2 levers. What mine does is it reburns the gases. So the box itself, you put the logs in, they burn, then the gases get circulated back into the box through pipes at the top, and it almost looks like a gas burner, but it's actually the fumes coming back into the box to be burnt a second time, which makes this type of fireplace insert much more efficient, and it also has a fan in it that circulates the air in the room around the box. So the fan, you can turn it on and off, and it's got a variable resistor, so it's like this dial thing. It's that part kind of feels cheap. I would rather have some kind of slide, something more than just this kind of wheel that's tucked behind the thing. But it works fine, and it's adjustable. Like, it's a infinitely adjustable variable resistor, so you can turn up and down the fan. It won't kick on until the box reaches a certain temperature, and that's probably to make sure that the box gets hot enough to do the reburn before it starts, circulating air and cooling the box, because then you would probably never achieve that reburn. The box has to get pretty hot for that to happen. So, pardon me. So anyway, the 2 controls are at the top. There's a knob that comes in and out. When you pull it out, the gases are allowed to go straight up the chimney. When you push it in, the gases do the circulation thing where they come through the pipes at the top and they reburn before going on their merry way. The lever at the bottom is to adjust the inside air intake. Once you've got the box up to temperature and you've got the reburn going, you close that all the way, and that gives you that real slow burn where the box stays hot. You don't see the logs burning. The fire is actually at the top of the box, which is like a really bizarre phenomenon. But yeah, you don't see the logs burning. The logs just sit there. The fire happens above the logs, up at the pipes. So that being said, the point I was making was, when you go to add logs and things like that, what you want to do is, most importantly, you want to take the top knob, you want to pull that out so that the exhaust goes straight up and it's not recirculating in the box. Secondly, you want to open the box slowly. You want to open it just a crack, allow it to normalize, and then open it up and put the log in. If you open it too quickly, and if you forget to pull that thing out, what happens is you just get a face full of, all that fireplace nonsense. And I did that like twice, at least yesterday. The wood I'm using, I've got a green light. The wood I'm using is, I got it like around the time I got the house. We didn't do a lot of burns because a regular fireplace does not warm your house, especially if you've got high ceilings and it's not well insulated. What it does is it makes it warm in that area, but what it's doing, and my fireplace insert does the same thing, but I'll explain the difference again when we get back to it. But a regular fireplace, you throw a bunch of logs in there, you light a fire, the fire, smoke, everything goes up the chimney. The problem is that it needs air, so it's taking the air from the room and it's going up the chimney. You're getting radiant heat in the area, it's warming up the chimney itself, you're getting some radiant heat, but you're pulling so much cold air from the outside into the house that it's kind of defeating the whole purpose. So the only way to stay warm would be to huddle directly around the fire. What the fireplace insert does, like I said, is it contains the fire. There's no real connection. Like, you won't get any kind of very, very little smoke smell in the house from it because it's contained in the box behind the glass. It goes up the chimney. It does pull in air from the room at the bottom. That little thing at the bottom controls a baffle on the bottom of the thing. You can never completely close it off because you need to feed it. But once it's up to temperature, you can close it off, so it's just a slow feed, and it'll burn everything down to embers. Like I said, that really nice fire at the top. So it does feed off the inside air, but because it's also circulating inside air around it, it's generating a lot more hot air into the room than you're losing feeding the fire, especially once the baffle's closed. So you're slowly feeding the fire. The box is up to temperature, and it's just going to continue to burn very efficiently until all the wood is gone. What I eventually want to do, but I have to figure out how exactly do I. Like, there's a lot of minor leaks when it comes to this, mainly leading into the chimney space around the box, not the thing itself. I took care of most of that with insulation, different insulating type materials. But what I want to do is find a way to hook outside air to increase the efficiency even more. Run a duct from the outside to the intake on the fireplace insert, so it's not even pulling inside air. So which, if I'm not pulling cold air into the house, it's even more efficient. You know what I mean? At warming the place. It does a really good job, though. It's glad I bought it. It was expensive, and it hasn't quite. It won't pay for itself for a long time. Because yesterday I just used it as supplement heating. The problem is our furnace, our boiler doesn't turn off. Like, I can, if I'm going to be home, like, I can definitely run the fireplace, and it's enough to at least warm that end of the house. Like, the other end of the house warms up pretty quickly because that's where all the stuff is, where all the mechanicals are. What was I talking about? Oh, you're right. That's why I have a sinus headache, because I was playing with the fireplace and I wasn't paying attention to what I was supposed to do, and I probably got a lot more soot and smoke in my face than I should have. I exceeded the RDA on soot. Now that it's cooled down a little bit, it's still fine. I don't know. Like I said, my olfactory senses may not be up to 100% because of that, but it tastes a little burnt. I don't know how I could burn coffee this early in the morning, but that may be me. So we'll do a fourth day tomorrow. We will do Midnight Black one more time. See how Pardon me. Sorry. Yeah, so we're getting really close to the end of the part 3 of the AM Drive-In on February 6th. And yeah, like absolutely no symptoms at all. Like I said, I'm going to have the Monday morning blues. I'm always going to be slightly tired in the morning. I'm old. There's all these different things that will always hurt. That baseline is the same. Nothing else is happening. So I just can't wrap my head around it being the jacket. I mean, that's what I suspected it might be, but what the heck. So I'll get it cleaned. I'll get a Geiger counter. There's the only two things I can think of: some kind of chemical, or VOC, or possibly radiation. Or possibly it's possessed. The jacket is possessed. Which would be really funny, because I was talking about being a great big fatty earlier, and that's like the only jacket that really fits me. Anyway, have a wonderful day.